find your majesty.
Prayer, the art of believing. Chapter 3. Imagination and faith. Prayers are not successfully made unless there is a rapport between the consciousness and subconscious mind of the operator. This is done through imagination and faith. By the power of imagination, all men, certainly imaginative men, are forever casting forth enchantments, and all men, especially unimaginative men, are continually passing under their power. Can we ever be certain that it was not our mother, while darning our socks, who began that subtle change in our minds? If I can unintentionally cast an enchantment over persons, there's no reason to doubt that I am able to cast unintentionally a far stronger enchantment. Everything that can be seen, touched, explained, argued over is to the imaginative man nothing more than a means, for he functions by reason of his controlled imagination in the deep of himself, where every idea exists in itself and not in relation to something else. In him, there is no need for the restraints of reason, for the only restraint he can obey is the mysterious instinct that teaches him to eliminate all moods other than the mood of the fulfilled desire. Imagination and faith are the only faculties of mind needed to create objective conditions. The faith required for the successful operation of the law of consciousness is purely subjective faith and is attainable upon the cessation of active opposition on the part of the objective mind of the operator. It depends upon your ability to feel and accept as true what your objective senses deny. Neither the passivity of the subject nor his consciousness agreement with your suggestion is necessary, for without his consent or knowledge, he can be given a subjective order which he must objectively express. It is fundamental law of consciousness that by telepathy we can have immediate communion with another. To establish rapport, you call the subject mentally. Focus your attention on him and mentally shout out his name, just as you would to attract the attention of anyone. Imagine that he has answered and mentally hear his voice. Represent him to yourself inwardly in the state you want him to obtain. Then imagine that he is telling you in the tones of ordinary conversation what you want to hear. Mentally answer him. Tell him of your joy in witnessing his good fortune, having mentally heard with all the distinctness of reality that which you wanted to hear, and having thrilled to the news heard return to objective consciousness. Your subjective conversations must awaken what is affirmed. Thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee. It is not a strong will that sends the subjective word on its mission so much as it's a clear thinking and feeling the truth of the state affirmed. When belief and will are in conflict, belief invariably wins, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord of hosts. It is not what you want that you attract. You attract what you believe to be true. Therefore, get into the spirit of these mental conversations and give them the same decree of reality that you would a telephone conversation. If thou castest believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. Therefore I say unto you, whatever things soever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye have received them, and ye shall have them. The acceptance of the end wills the means. And the wisest reflection could not devise more effective means than those which are willed by the acceptance of the end. Mentally, talk to your friends as though your desires for them were already realized. Imagination is the beginning of growth of all forms, and faith is the substance about which they are formed. By imagination, that which exists in latency or is asleep within the deep of consciousness is awakened and is given a form. The cures attributed to the influence of certain medicines, relics, and places are the effects of imagination and faith. The creative power is not in the spirit that is in them. It is in the spirit in which they are accepted. The letter killeth, but the spirit giveth life. The subjective mind is completely controlled by suggestion. So whether the object of your faith be true or false, you will get the same results. There's nothing unsound in theory of medicine or in the claims of the priesthood of their relics in the holy places. The subjective mind of the patient accepts the suggestion of health conditions on such states. As soon as these conditions are met, proceeds to realize health. According to your faith, be it done unto you, for all things are possible to him that believeth. Confident expectation of a state is most potent means of bringing it about. The confident expectation of a cure does that which no medical treatment can accomplish. Failure is always due to an antagonistic autosuggestion by the patient, arising from objective doubt of the power of the medicine or relic, or from doubt of the truth of the theory. Many of us, either from too little emotion or too much intellect, both which are stumbling blocks in a way of prayer, cannot believe, in which our senses deny. To force ourselves to believe will end in greater doubt. To avoid such counter-suggestions, the patient should be unaware objectively of the suggestions which are made to him. The most effective method of healing or influencing the behavior of others consists in which is what is known as the silent or absent treatment. When the subject is unaware objectively of suggestion given to him, there is no possibility of him setting up an antagonistic belief. It is not necessary that the patient know objectively that anything is being done for him. For what is known of subjective and objective processes of reasoning, it is better that he should not know objectively that which is being done for him. The more completely the objective mind is kept in ignorance of suggestion, the better will the subjective mind perform its functions. The subject subconsciously accepts the suggestion and thinks he originates it, proving the truth of Spinoza's dictum that we know not the causes that determine our actions. The subconscious mind is the universal conductor which the operator modifies with his thoughts and feelings. Visible states are either the vibratory effects of subconscious vibrations within you, or they are vibratory causes of corresponding vibrations within you. A disciplined man never permits them to be causes unless they awaken in him desirable states of consciousness. With a knowledge of the law of reversibility, the disciplined man transformed his world by imagining and feeling only what is lovely in a good report. The beautiful idea he awakens within himself shall not fail to arouse the affinity in others. He knows the Savior of the world is not a man, but the manifestation that would save. The man's sick Savior is health. The hungry man's Savior is food. The thirsty man's Savior is water. He walks in the company of the Savior by assuming the feeling of his wish fulfilled. By the laws of reversibility, that all transformations of force are reversible, the energy or feeling awaken transformations in itself into the state imagined. He never waits 4 months for the harvest. If in 4 months the harvest will awaken in him a state of joy, then inversely the joy of the harvest now will awaken the harvest now. Now is the acceptable time to give beauty for ashes, joy for mourning, praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that might be glorified. This have been a reading, Prayer, The Art of Believing by Neville Goddard, Chapter 3.